Hello everyone. This video is on the Knewton Alta assignment for section 2.3 called Solving Linear Equations. So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through a preview version of this assignment. So I hope you understand that the questions I see in this video may or may not be the same questions that you see when you work on the assignment yourself. But, all the objectives are the same, and the structure is the same. So I'm hoping that watching me do several examples here will help you in some way when you work on the assignment on your own. Alright, so your assignment page looks like this. You have your title, the mastery bar telling you how far along you've gotten. You can view all your objectives for the assignment. Looks like there are 3 objectives for this assignment. Under the current objective, there should be a question related to that objective. And at the bottom of every question, you should be seeing a feedback button where you can send feedback to Knewton if you wish. There will not be, you will not have an instructor cheat button. It's for instructors only. But you will have a more instruction button, which you can use. Click on this if you're struggling with a topic. You'll be taken to a page with further reading or videos related to that topic, and you'll be given questions related to that instruction, and you can get through the assignment that way if you wish. Alright, so the first objective I'm looking at is solve an equation with variables on both sides. Now we are solving linear equations in this particular section. So that just means the variable, every term that has a variable in it is going to have that variable to the first power. There's not going to be a squared or a cubed or a square root or anything like that. There aren't going to be any denominators with variables in them, with letters in them. If there are denominators, they'll be just numbers. So that's what it means to be linear, a linear equation in a variable. Every term with that variable has the variable to the first power. Alright, so what I'm going to do is write out this equation and we'll solve it, right? We'll find a value of n that I can replace and make this a true statement. So the equation we're given is -3 times n minus 105 equals 4n, 4 times n. Alright, so the steps I'm going to follow, I'll just say them out loud. You can read them in the more instruction or in your textbook. But I'm going to be first simplifying both sides, and you simplify the sides after every single step. So like right now both sides are already simplified, right? There are no like terms to combine on either side. And then, and there's no parentheses, right? You would use the distributive property to get rid of parentheses if you needed to, and then combine like terms. But that's not happening here. That doesn't need to be done. And then after simplifying both sides, you start adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting until you get all the terms with the variable on one side and terms without the variable on the other. So here I'm going to take all the terms with the variable to the right side, because there's already this 4n over here, and there's a -3n on the left side of the equal sign. Let's just add 3n and see what happens, right? -3n plus 3n, that'll get rid of the 3n on the left side and take it to the right side, and then we combine like terms, and again you simplify after every move. The left side is simply a number now, just the term negative 105. And the right side is, 4n plus 3n, 7 times n. So you add and subtract after simplifying. You add and subtract until you get all the terms with the variable on one side, terms without the variable on the other side, like I have here. And simplify after every step. Then after the adding and subtracting is done, you do multiplication and division. Well, to get n alone, to get just one n, see this is 7 times n, I undo the multiplication by 7 by dividing both sides by 7. So on the left side here we have negative divided by positive, so that'll be negative, and then 105 divided by 7 is 15. 7 times 15 is 105. So that's negative 15. Equals over here, the 7's are gone, the 7's cancel, equals n. There's your solution. Now you can switch sides if you want. This means the same thing as n equals negative 15, right? Just switching the sides. And there's your solution. Now don't forget to check solutions before you submit them. Make sure they're correct. Plug in negative 15 for n in the expression on the left side, the expression on the right side of the equal sign. Make sure that both sides give you the same number. That is a true statement. Well, let's see. Negative 3 times negative 15 would be positive 45. Minus 105 would be negative 60. You'd have negative 60 on the left. On the right side, you'd have 4 times negative 15, which would also be negative 60. So you'd have negative 60 equals negative 60, a true statement. This is a good solution. It's okay. And that's what I'll enter. We're going back here. N equals negative 15. And then after you submit an answer, it'll tell you if you got it right or wrong, and then give you some sort of answer explanation. Please read through these answer explanations just to make sure you understand why something was right or why something was wrong. And hopefully you can learn from your mistakes for future questions. All right. So next question. Sticking with the same objective here. So once again, I'll write this out and work through the same steps I talked about in the last example, and we'll find the value of r that will make this a true statement. So this equation, we have negative 7 times r on the left side equals negative 8 times r plus 5. So there are no parentheses, no fractions, nothing to really simplify on either side right now. So now I move on to the addition and subtraction part, where I take all the terms with r in it to one side, and I think the easiest side here would be the left side. So I'll keep the negative 7r term on the left. This negative 8r term on the right I want to get rid of, so I need to add 8r. That'll make it into 0, right? That'll get rid of it, and do the same thing to the other side. Add 8r, and then simplify. Negative 7r plus 8r would be positive 1r equals, and then here 0 plus 5 is 5, and that is all we need to do. That's it. Because r is by itself, it's 1r equals 5. And then don't forget to check it. If I replace r with 5, the left side would be negative 35. The right side would be negative 40 plus 5, which is also negative 35. So it makes it a true statement. So very simply, r equals 5. Great. Alright, so now we're switching objectives. Solve an equation with constants and variables on both sides. So I'm just going to have to do a little more adding and subtracting. That's all. Alright. So once again, I'll write this equation out, and we'll We'll solve for x, right? The variable's x this time. All right, so left side we have negative 9x minus 1 equals right side, you have negative 8 times x plus 15. Now just pick a side. You know, most people, for some reason, like taking all the variable terms to the left side. It really doesn't matter. You just pick a side. Let's say we take them to the left side. I know the right side would probably be easier if you think about it, but so let's keep this negative 9x over here on the left, and then take the negative 8x away by adding 8x. Right? That'll make nothing. Do it to the other side as well. Add 8x, and that'll go with the negative 9x, right? We're combining like terms. All right, well, not only am I doing that, I'm also going to move the constants around, right? The terms that don't have a variable. Now, if all the terms of the variable I want on the left, that means I want all the terms without a variable on the right. So the positive 15 I'm going to keep on the right side. So this negative 1 I want to get rid of. And if it's negative 1, it means I need to add 1. I'm going to add 1 to the right side as well. And then we simplify and combine like terms. Negative 9x plus 8x is negative 1x. And then negative 1 plus 1 is 0, right? That's gone. Then negative 8x plus 8x is 0. And 15 plus 1 is 16. And then we divide both sides by negative 1. X is negative 16. And there you go. And don't forget to check it. Plug in negative 16 for x on both sides, and just make sure both sides give you 143. It should. All right. So that's what I'll enter. Negative 16. Great. Okay, next question. I'm pretty sure no matter what objective we're in, I'm going to be performing the same steps, right? Make sure we simplify every step and get all the terms with the variable on one side, terms without the variable on the other side using addition and subtraction, and then do some sort of division or multiplication at the end to get the variable alone. It's the same steps every single time. All right, so here we'll write this out. We'll solve for s. Got 15 on the left equals 2s minus 9. And the only term with a variable is this 2s, and it's already on the right side, so let's just keep it on the right side. And then get rid of the negative 9 because it doesn't have a variable by adding 9. And I do that to the other side as well. All right, 15 plus 9, 24 on the left, and just 2s on the right. And now I have all the terms of the variable on one side, terms without the variable on the other. It's simplified. Then we divide by 2 to get s alone here because it's s times 2, and then 24 divided by 2 is positive 12 equals s, right? So 12 equals s equals 12, however you want to write that, right? But 12 is the solution, and don't forget to check it. It does work. Okay, great. Alright, so pretty similar here. I'm just going to do this on the same page actually. There's plenty of space. I don't know why I didn't do it with the first paper, but so just going here. This equation now, we have 10 on the left equals 6 times a plus 4 on the right. And once again, the only term with a variable is on the right side, so let's just leave that there and subtract 4, right, to get rid of the positive 4. So now I have 6 on the left, 10 minus 4 equals 6 times a on the right. And to get the variable a by itself, we divide by 6. Divide by 6. And 6 divided by 6 is positive 1. Right? So a is positive 1. And go ahead and check that. 6 times 1 plus 4 is 10. 10 equals 10. That works out. Don't forget to check your solutions before you submit them, just to make sure you're correct. All right, wonderful. All right, so again, same steps here. Just got to move, some variable terms and some constant terms. So we have this equation. Left side of the equal sign, you have negative 3m plus 10 equals right side 9m minus 38. Now, once again, I'll just make sure all the variables go to the left and terms without variables, the constant terms, go to the right. So the terms with variables, negative 3m is already on the left. I'll keep it there. 9m is on the right. I don't want that there. So I'm going to subtract 9m. That'll make that 0. And do the same thing to the other side. Subtract 9m. Alright, then the terms without a variable I want on the right side. Negative 38 is already on the right side, so I'll leave it. It's this positive 10 I don't want on the left, so I'm going to subtract 10, right? That'll make 0. And do the same thing to the other side. Combine like terms. The left side, negative 3m minus 9m would be negative 12m. And then the right side, negative 38 minus 10 would be negative 48. And now to get m alone, we do division. Divide both sides by negative 12. That'll make this positive 1m. Divide by negative 12. So we have m on the left, and then a negative number divided by a negative number is a positive number, right? So and then 48 divided by 12 is 4. This is positive 4. And don't forget to check it, right? If you plug in 4 for m, you're going to have negative 2 equals negative 2. This is true. Right. So m equals 4. Submit. Submit. All right, there we go. All right, next, and notice it's the same step every time. All right, so I've done a couple of these already. This is short. Just add 6. You'd have 11b equals negative 22, and then divide by 11. Negative 22 divided by 11 would be negative 2. B would be negative 2 here, and you can check that on your own. Okay. So I might talk out a lot of the rest of these. Like here, I would subtract 5. You'd have 40 equals 10 times r. Then divide by 10. 40 divided by 10 is 4. All right, r equals 4, positive 4. Great, so that objective's done. I'll just talk out those quick little two-steppers. Alright, here's another one that shouldn't take too long. I would subtract 4m to get all the m's on the right side. And then you have, negative m minus 4m. You'd have negative 5m equals negative 30. And then divide both sides by negative 5. Negative 30 divided by negative 5 is positive 6. M equals 6 for that one. And again, there it is. Read the answer explanations, please. Alright, another one that isn't too terrible. A equals 7a minus 66. I'd subtract 7a. A minus 7a is negative 6a. So you have negative 6a equals negative 66. Then dividing by negative 6, negative 66 divided by negative 6 would be positive 11. A equals 11. And again, check it on your own. Great, so that objective's done. Now these I might, with the variables and constants on both sides, I'll write these out. Okay. Even though I can see that x would have to be 15 here, but I'll actually write these out with the variables and constants on both sides. Right, so this equation, let's take the other half of the page here. 7x plus 9 equals 9x minus 21. Again, let's just, just to stick with what I've been doing with most of these, get the variables on the left, so I'd subtract 9x from both sides, get all the x's to the left, and then subtract the 9 here from both sides to get all the constants to the right. And you have negative 2x equals negative 30. Divide both sides by negative 2, and as I was saying earlier, x is going to be positive 15. Right? Negative 30 divided by negative 2. And again, put a little check mark next to that. Don't forget to check. Plug 15 in for x on both sides. See if you get a true statement. Cool, and there should just be one more of these. Alright, b equals negative 1. Like, you would add 5b, get 11b over here, subtract 1, get negative 11 over here. You have 11b equals negative 11, divide by 11. Negative 11 divided by 11 would be negative 1. I don't know why I'm not going to write that one out, though. These aren't that bad. Okay, so again, just make sure you're simplifying every step, starting from the beginning, simplifying the sides as every step as you go. And add and subtract first to get all the terms with the variable on one side, terms without the variable on the other. And then your last step should really just involve division, which is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, right? Dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by a third. So, but that last step to get the variable alone should just involve a quick multiplication or division. And of course, check your solutions when you're done. Always check before submitting, just to make absolutely certain that you're getting it correct. Alright, and that's it for this preview version of this assignment. So as I said at the top of the video, please understand that the questions I saw here may or may not be the same questions that you see when you work on the assignment yourself. But the objectives are the same, the structure is the same, so hopefully watching me go through these here helps you in some way when you're working on the assignment on your own. And thank you very much for watching.